It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Democracy survives another day. Hey, what's happening, everybody? The Geno Jones Showtime. I'm coming to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Please subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. Subscribe, share, like, and binge watch all my back episodes and tell everybody, or as Nelly would say, everybody you know to subscribe, share, like, and binge watch back episodes of the Geno Jones Show. So I come to you live Monday through Friday. Yesterday, we had a special Election Day special. We did part 1 and part 2. Thanks everybody for watching live, and everybody went to my YouTube channel and watched part 1 and part 2 of the Election Day special. Shout out to my Election Day panel. I had a great panel. AJ Davis, he's a regular contributor. My number 1 guest co-host, Keela Carson. And from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, we got Walt Love, who's running to be an alderman in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Harrison Ford, a political strategist. And both, full disclosure, all 4 are family to me. They really are. But they're brilliant, talented people. So I am lucky to have people in my family like that. Because this is important. I want you to listen to me closely. And please hear and understand the words that are coming out of my mouth right now. You don't get to choose the family you were born into, but you do get to choose who you consider family. Let me say that again so you can write it down, tweet it, and give me attribution or credit. You don't get to choose the family that you were born into, but you do get to choose who you consider family. Because DNA don't always make you family. Now, I'm blessed. I was born into the greatest family in the history of humankind, with Gene Jones and Conway Jones, my grandparents, my mother Mary Dixon, my number 1 fan, my publicist. She is my publicist, the wind beneath my wings, and she is that one person. I'm fortunate, actually I got 4, but she. Let's put it this way: she's the stopper. She's the one person that can save me from myself. Even if Damaris and Allie and Boogie can't get to me, they'll be like, okay, we're going to call Mother. Okay, because they know the buck stops. That's the one phone call. I don't want to get those phone calls and get those lectures because I've gotten them before. Trust me, that's a whole different story. Democracy survives for another day. So, let's take a deep, let's do it like meditation and yoga style. Let's close your mouth. Breathe in through your nose with your mouth closed. I learned that. A nurse taught me that when I went and got my shots. Because me and needles, I'm more afraid of a gun than a needle. But it's relaxed. It helps you relax, reduces the anxiety, stress, and slow your heart rate down. So close your mouth. Breathe through your nose, and then exhale. The work is just beginning, so don't get carried away. But, today, listen, I don't know about you all. I was tired for a minute, but then I'm energized. Like, when I'm on camera, when that light is on, I am energized. But, I'm going to give you the monologue. I'm going to do some birthdays because I forgot birthdays yesterday, be it Election Day. And then I got the brand new video. Shout out to the Isley brothers, Ronald and Ernie Isley. The brand new video called, the new single, The Plug. Girl, I got the plug for your love. Featuring 2 Chainz, repping the 404 ATL 678. I know they got too many damn area codes. I can't remember all of them. I know 404 for damn sure, and 678. Chicago, we got 312-708-778-847. I think 64 something else. I digress. So we're gonna see. We're going to get into the Isley brothers. Then we're going to slide. We're going to get our dance on. I slide on with Marcus Allen. And I might play another one for you, but at least those two. So democracy survives for another day. This is the day after election day. It's really like election week because we still have some races that have yet to be determined. In Georgia, stand up. So Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock is in the lead. He's got more votes than Herschel. Man, listen, I'm trying to be nice. Herschel Walker, problematic. Stephen from Django, just dumbass. And, I know, it's like, man, you shouldn't say that about another black man. Listen, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. So if you are a black person and that you embrace the ideology of white nationalism, if everything that you say and your actions and your behavior and everything you embrace are things that hurt people that look like you and me, then I got a problem with you. And I'm going to call you out, and I'm going to check you. Somebody else, I got to name check some other folks, but one specifically that's a part of the whole situation in Georgia. But shout out to Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock. So there's going to be what they call a runoff election. Raphael Warnock has the most votes, but if you don't get over 50%, then they have what they call a runoff. So we got to run it back. So we got to run it back for Reverend Warnock. We got to run it back for Reverend Warnock so he can maintain that Senate seat in Georgia. Shout out to John Fetterman, the Democrat up in Pennsylvania. That was a pickup. We took that from a Republican. Looks like my man Mark Kelly in Arizona is going to win that Senate seat. The Democratic senator, I believe her last name is Masto. Christine, I can't remember her full name. Right now she's trailing. They believe she's still got a chance because there's still a lot of votes out. And I think a lot of those votes are going to come from the county that Las Vegas is in, which is the largest county by population in Nevada. Mark Kelly is looking good. As a matter of fact, even the candidate for governor in Arizona, she's still leading. Looks like she's going to be able to pull it out. Katie Hobbs, she took a lot of heat. So Katie Hobbs is like, so it's like this white woman. She wears glasses. She looks like the librarian that you had when you were in grade school, or maybe like the public library in your neighborhood when you were a little kid and they had a librarian. And she looks, she dressed like a librarian, real soft-spoken. She's not like a TV media personality. She's not an entertainer. She's not a comedian. She's not a news anchor that's read a teleprompter like her opponent, Katie Hobbs. So as a matter of fact, so the Democratic candidate, I might have said Katie Hobbs, but I can't think of, I can't remember her name right now. I just want to make sure I'm getting the name right because I don't have all those notes in front of me. But anyway, the Democratic nominee for governor and senator, Mark Kelly, he is already the senator. So he is an incumbent. That means he's already in office. And there is a Democratic candidate who is leading for governor in Arizona. Like it is Katie Hobbs. I knew I'd trust your first mind. You don't go wrong. Carrie Lake. Carrie Lake is the crazy MAGA cult. This heifer. You could translate heifer. If you grew up in a house like mine, my grandmother, she didn't cuss. But if my grandmother called you a heifer, she was cussing you out. You were a B, a H. You were getting cussed out. When Gene Jones called you nasty, trifling heifer, you just got cussed out. Up and down. Without using one word of profanity. That's who my grandmother was. All right? So, democracy has survived. But, man, the work has just begun. All right? So, once again, we got to show up. And shout out to a lot of the young people. The incumbent Democratic governor, Tony Evers, he won. He kept his seat in Wisconsin. Shout out to Governor Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan. Man, this woman, woo, man, because you talking about the folks that came for Mike Pence to hang his ass on January 6th, they came for her like in the spring of 2020. They stormed the Capitol. They did like a man. They had assault weapons, and then they found out that there was a plot. As a matter of fact, there are people in jail who they were going to they were going to murder her. They were going to kidnap her and tie her up with zip ties, and they were going to blow up bridges and kill Michigan State police officers when they kidnapped her. Not my opinion. This came out in court. Some of these right-wing MAGA white nationalist militia domestic terrorists convicted, sitting in jail right now for attempting to do this. So they came for her. That was, like I said, that was the dress rehearsal for January 6th up in Michigan, the state capitol up in Lansing, Michigan. So shout out to Gretchen Whitmer. She won, and then her lieutenant governor. As a matter of fact, guess what? Even a lot of Republicans don't believe in banning abortion in all instances. Michigan, Wisconsin basically voted that a woman should have a right to determine whether or not she wants to have a baby, and that the government really ain't got no say in that. I think because you had what they call ballot initiatives where the people voted on whether or not it should be a law to allow women in the state to have an abortion or not. I think I know there was an initiative. I want to say a law. It is a law. An initiative is still a law. I'm trying to make sure I'm not talking over anybody's head. But there was a ballot initiative or a law that the people basically got to vote on in Kentucky. And I think Kentucky, they voted to basically say, no, the state doesn't need to control whether or not a woman can have an abortion. That should be a decision for really the woman and her doctor. At the end of the day, it's really the woman's decision because it's the woman's body. We don't need a bunch of men who ain't never had a baby, couldn't carry a baby. If God made it where men had to carry babies, we as humans would be extinct. We would be the way of the dinosaur because men cannot stand pain. We can't stand to be constipated. A hard bowel movement and straining and grunting and sweating it and oh no. Yeah, we may be able to bench press a car and all that, leg press 8,000 pounds, but a 10-pound baby coming out of you? Nah. And then, got C-sections and then breech baby. That was what I was. I was going up toward my mother's heart. So she had to have like an emergency C-section. C-section, they cut a woman really like right, or I think like this. Something like they make an incision like in her stomach to get the baby out. Yeah, I don't think it's like that. I think it's like goes like that. Men can't tell me. I'm telling you, I'm a man. Men ain't going for that. So fellas, we just need to leave that alone. So if you don't want to get a woman, if you don't want a woman to terminate a pregnancy, don't get her pregnant. Use protection. But hey, same people that want to ban abortions want to ban birth control. That includes condoms. They're coming for those too, along with birth control pills. So fellas, be careful. Because there's a lot of fellas that would have a whole bunch of kids that they couldn't afford, didn't want to have, if it wasn't for a lot of women who didn't go through with those pregnancies that a lot of you men didn't want them to go through with in the first place. Threatened them, paid them off, said, begged and pleaded and cried and, oh no, governor, please, you can't have this, my kid. It's gonna ruin my career. Come on now, I'm just giving it to you straight. All right, so shout, and women stood up and represented because this is personal. And fellas, we will never understand that because we will never know what it's like to actually carry a life, a life growing in your body and your organs, all your organs being compressed and pushed around. I've heard doctors say that at the moment of childbirth, when a woman is delivering a baby, that is the closest that she will come to death in many cases. And unfortunately, there are many women who die during or right after childbirth. As a matter of fact, they call it maternal mortality. the maternal mortality rate for black women is like 3 or 4 times higher than that for white women. So having a baby is serious business. All right? It ain't. And ask any woman who's had a child, fellas. Some of you all had witnessed it and passed out. Now, it's the woman that's going through the whole labor pains and contractions and everything, vaginal birth. But it's a lot of men who caught him trying to be courageous and want to watch it, and they ass is fainting. The woman that's going through all it, she manning up and pushing and getting the child out, and men are just just passing out. Man, if you're gonna pass out, stay out of the delivery room. They don't need to. Listen, they got enough to take care of the woman that's delivering the child, and then taking care of the child, and then the mother right after to make sure all her vitals are okay. They don't need to be worrying about some man passing out because he couldn't stand the sight of, a little blood. Go sit your ass down somewhere. Or just stay out the room. Do like I did. Just wait in the delivery room for the nurse to come and get you. And then when you get back to the delivery room or the recovery room, they will hand you the baby like they handed me. All right, I digress. All right. I got to congratulate. Let me say this because I was talking about Georgia before I forget. Shout out to Groove Master Dre and Mary Dixon, my #1 fan, my mother, who had 3 children. And I was a C-section. I don't know if my 2 sisters were, but I know I was. I was the C-section and the breech baby. I was the problem. Huge problem. They had to fly a specialist in. I digress. I'm going to let her tell that story to you one day. So I want to shout out Stacey Abrams. She lost, but she ran a great campaign. Now, I got to say this, and I've had 2 elections because she ran twice. And she really had his ass beat the first time. But Brian Kemp, the guy who's the governor now, when he ran the first time, he was the Secretary of State. He was in charge of running the election. And then he purged or kicked off I think over 500,000 people off the voter rolls. And they were playing these same. So this time they allowed other people. So you had all these white nationalists from any state because Brian Kemp, he had his Republicans because Georgia is run mostly by Republicans. The majority of the members of the House, the State House and the State Senate in Georgia, which is in Atlanta, downtown Atlanta, are Republican. So they passed this law to where you could challenge voter integrity and anybody. So all these white nationalists, white Christian nationalists, domestic terrorists, they were challenging voters. And they would know, figured out what zip codes had the majority of black folks. So they would challenge. You had tens of thousands of black people whose registration was challenged by some total stranger who don't even know them. So Brian Kemp has always been playing games in terms of, listen, Georgia has voter suppression down to a science, like a fine art. But Stacey Abrams ran a great campaign. So I saw Stacey Abrams in the debates against Brian Kemp. And listen, this is no disrespect, but it was like she was having a debate with a child in special needs. And really, I apologize because I think a special needs student would have done better than Brian Kemp. That is how dominant she was. She came with the facts, the receipts. Stacey Abrams is brilliant. We would not have Georgia. You would not have U.S. Senator Raphael Warnock or Senator John Ossoff if it wasn't for Stacey Abrams and organizations like her and LaTosha Brown and Cliff Averill at Black Voters Matter that organized and registered and turned out tens, millions of black folks and Hispanic folks, Asian Americans, Native Americans, and anti-racist white people, but specifically millions of black people that Stacey Abrams has registered in the last 10 years. So you wouldn't have, and the United States would look a lot different. Because if we didn't have Georgia turning blue, Orange Hitler would still be sitting in the White House, and America would not exist. It would be like Russia. Russia. You got Russia and America. Russia, something that I don't know what the hell they would call it. Ramerica. Maybe that's what they call it. They call it Ramerica, but it would be entirely different. But I got to say this, not about Stacey Abrams. And shout out, because I looked at some numbers. So black men supported Stacey Abrams. And, you know, I don't know what the exact number was, but only a small, I don't even think it was, I think I saw some numbers, maybe mid-80s. Black men supported. Folks in Georgia, you all will go to my YouTube channel and leave me a message. But so Stacey Abrams got the majority of black men that supported her. But I got to say this. So there was a lot of white folks that said that, that they were anti-racist. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, it was the white vote that let Stacey Abrams down. But a big part of it, and I got to say this, so I don't have the data in front of me, but I'm telling you what I know, conversations that I've heard, even conversations I've heard, been around, or part of, with some black men. Not many, because there was this narrative that black men were not going to support Stacey Abrams. And she had a specific program to speak to black men, and black men supported her. But there was still some prominent black men who supported Brian Kemp, like Killer Mike. And I got to call Killer Mike out. And I'm a huge fan of Killer Mike. So Mike, I've always admired what you've done, especially as a social justice warrior. So this whole move with Brian Kemp, now I'm sure you're going to try to explain and talk about there was strategy behind it, but let's act like we are in your barber shop. Because Killer Mike has a barber shop down in I think on the east side, College Park, somewhere in Atlanta, but like on the southeast side, I think on the side of Atlanta where the airport is. I've never been there, but I heard it's in that area, that part of town. So let's act like Killer Mike that we are in your barber shop. So now I've been told from reliable sources you were part of a group of black men business owners, maybe 50. I don't know what other celebrities, so I don't want to name check without having the facts, but I do know I've seen video and I've read comments basically with you caping for Brian Kemp. Now the truth is, you know better than I do. You of all people, Killer Mike, know that Brian Kemp don't give a shit about black people. Stacey Abrams, she came with the receipts and she put his ass on blast and he couldn't say nothing. So, out of all the state contracts, all the businesses in Georgia that were awarded state contracts during Brian Kemp's administration while he's been governor, because he's been governor for 4 years, what percentage of black-owned businesses were awarded contracts with the state of Georgia through Brian Kemp and his administration? You know the number. Stacey Abrams, she called it out. She came with the receipts. 2%. 2% in a state that's 30% black, where the state capital is in probably the blackest city on the planet, right there in downtown Atlanta, the state capital in Atlanta. All this black excellence around Brian Kemp. 2% of the state contracts that were awarded to businesses in Georgia were awarded to black-owned businesses. You can't even make that make sense, Mike. So whatever strategy that you may have had, or maybe you were just on just some selfish, hey, listen, man, he done helped, because I heard something, he helped you out in the past. something with your business. Well, that's all great, but what has he done for the culture, for the community, for our community, yours and mine, bruh? So I'd love to have that conversation. So please, somebody send this to Killer Mike. And I say it out of respect and love, the agape love from one brother to another brother. But there's something that we must do collectively as black people. We have to hold each other accountable. And when we need to call somebody out, we got to call it out. Facts, not feelings. You can be in your feelings all you want to. Because trust me, if I come incorrect, if I say one thing and do something else, I can't come on this show and talk about that I am pro-black. I'm not anti-anybody, but I am pro-black in America because America has been anti-black for 403 years. Just a fact, not an opinion. We got laws, passed laws on the books, slavery, Jim Crow laws, segregation, lynching, rape, murder, institutional racism, the racism when it comes to trying to buy a house, borrow money to start a business, in education, redlining in insurance companies, just the racism that in any business, sports, entertainment, you name it. Come on, Mike. Come on, brother. You smart. You've read enough. Neither one of us, we're not academics, we're not scholars, but you've read enough. Like I've read enough, and I've surrounded myself with people who are smarter than I am in certain areas where they've educated or they have pointed me in the direction where I could educate myself and do my own homework and read and do the research. So I'm just saying, come on, either we are for black people, because when black people win in America, everybody wins. Because if black people win, Hispanic brothers and sisters, the ones who don't look white, who can't pass for white, Native American brothers and sisters, Asian American brothers and sisters, who ain't on some anti-black racist, because this whole whiteness is a club. It's made up anyway. Because the whole concept of whiteness is really about power, but they use this color thing to maintain power, to divide and conquer people and divide them by race. I've talked about that so many times on this show. So I just wanted to call out. So I've got to call out. Now, I'm not accusing you of being misogynist, Killer Mike, sexist. Let me be clear, because I don't have any evidence. If I had evidence, I would call it. I'm like an umpire in baseball with good eyes. I'm gonna call balls and strikes. And if I see a strike, I'm calling it. It's a strike. You can argue all you want to. Just rewind the tape. The K zone, the little strike zone, the little box. It's a strike. Now get mad. You should have swung. You didn't have to stand there and look at it. But I got to call it like it is. But I'm not accusing you of misogyny or sexism. I don't know that. I haven't seen that. I haven't heard that at all. I have just not. I just haven't. But you got a great relationship with Brian Kemp. He helped your business. I'm not mad at you. I'm not knocking your hustle. But this is one time to where really, because Stacey Abrams is so beyond qualified. She really is. She's like you all. Georgia would have been lucky to have a sister, a woman this brilliant, any person this brilliant. Because just listening to her talk and then listening to Brian Kemp talk, it's like, y'all elected this dude? He can barely talk. And we got a governor in South Carolina who just won again, Henry McMaster, who sounds less intelligent than Brian Kemp. It's like, damn, they were in the same class? They were studying off the same cheat sheet, because they both sound like they repeated a grade or two, but still in power. But when you are a white man, you can be in power and not be magna cum laude of your college class valedictorian of your high school class. Hell, you could not even rank, but you still will get put on. That's just a fact. You had to do Jeff Saturday. He played in the NFL, played for the Indianapolis Colts. This dude just got hired as a head coach. Now, you got qualified black men that have coached, that have won, that have been coordinators, who are like second to the coaches. You got a brother named Eric Bieniemy in Kansas City. Kansas City got the most potent offense that we've seen. They even lost one of their best players, Tyreek Hill, and Eric Bieniemy, along with Patrick Mahomes, a quarterback, but he's the man calling the plays. Even Eric Bieniemy's boss, his head coach, Andy Reid, the white man, is saying, hey, because this, Eric Bieniemy is not really calling plays. Andy Reid is calling the plays. And to Andy's credit, and shout out to Andy Reid, we need more allies. We need more white men and women like Andy Reid that are just fair. Like, hey, hold on. And shout out to Bruce Arians, who's not coaching anymore, even though, I don't rock with Tom Brady at all. But you got it. Todd Bowles is the head coach now. He was the defensive coordinator. You got my man Byron Leftwich, who's the offensive coordinator. So he had black men, like I think even special teams in leadership positions in Tampa Bay. So, but Andy Reid, shout out to Andy Reid. Andy Reid was like, no, actually, Eric Bieniemy is calling the plays. You see him with the big ass card with all them different colors on it, talking into his little earpiece. So don't do that to him. Don't even play that game. And he still don't have a head coaching job. All right, but the bottom line with Stacey Abrams, sexism and misogyny played a huge role. I don't know how huge, but it played a part. It absolutely played a part in her not winning the governor's seat in Georgia. And I'm just saying, as men, period, of all races, and specifically as black men, because I have been in conversations, I've gotten into, heated discussions with other men. Dude, whatever insecurity you may have, if I have a job to do, like my media company, my guest co-host, Keela Carson. Keela is as good as anybody that I've had on this show. So at the end of the day, I want the most talented people, period. So listen, I'm not intimidated about a brilliant woman. Come on a team. I'm trying to win. So this 1940s and 50s backwards ass misogyny and sexism, but there's still too much of that going on. And it's up to us to call that out. Because that's really weak. That's weak-ish. Well, I don't want to work for no woman. I know some men, dudes worse than women. Some of the stereotypes that men have for women, I've worked for some men who those stereotypes are real. So it can go both ways. But I want to shout out Stacey Abrams, running a great race. I want to shout out Cheryl Beasley in North Carolina, almost won, almost became a U.S. Senator up in North Carolina. Come on, we got to support these black women. And white folks, white America, yes, you got to stop being intimidated by a brilliant black woman. And just because she's intelligent and she's, passionate and she has her facts and she's not smiling and trying to make you feel comfortable, you can't get intimidated and call her an angry black woman. Respect her like you would respect a white man. If she's showing you that she's got the intelligence and the gravitas to handle the job. Stacey Abrams, absolutely, hands down. She's got the qualifications and the receipts to be the governor. But the people of Georgia spoke. So you got to respect that. and move on. So listen, it's to paraphrase my man out there doing this thing out in L.A., we gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. And you know, Stacey Abrams, she's probably singing that. She probably played that song. We gonna be all right. I'm gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. So, congratulations to Wes Moore. Wes Moore is now the governor of Maryland, the first black man or woman to ever be governor of the state of Maryland. So shout out to that DMV, Prince George's County, Maryland. Black folks stood up. Maryland, Baltimore, Wes Moore. Brother was in the military. I've seen him on TV. He is brilliant. Brilliant. I could see him running for president one day. This brother's really smart, charismatic, handsome dude, but he's just got the demeanor, temperament, intelligence, but just enough, enough charisma and sense of humor, all the stuff that you need, but a command of the issues and understands. Yeah, his messaging was on point. So shout out to Wes Moore. Remember that name, Wes Moore. Remember, if you didn't know about it, remember you heard it here first, because Wes Moore has a really bright future. He does. All right, I got to do this. Let me do this real quick. Happy birthday. So yesterday, I missed the birthday, so happy belated birthday, my bad, to R&B singer SZA, 33 yesterday, rapper Kia, my neck, my back, my neck, my back, my neck, my back. I might have got it in, actually, I may have got these in, because I did 2 shows yesterday, so I may have did them in the first show, but I'm going to do them again anyway. So she turned 45 yesterday. Eric B. from Eric B. and Rakim. Rakim, one of the legendary, iconic rappers in the history, hip-hop legend and icon, and his partner. Eric B. turned 59 on yesterday. Alfre Woodard, credible actress, political activist. She's on Law & Order, and actually I did shout them out earlier. Now that I think about it, I did the first show. But Alfre Woodard is 70, so I'm going to do it again. She was in movies like Crooklyn, Miss Evers Boys. That was an HBO movie. It was really good, powerful. Talked about the Tuskegee experiment with the black men who came in with syphilis, and they told them that they were giving them some medicine to treat it, like they were giving them penicillin, but they didn't give them anything because they wanted to see if their body's natural immune system would somehow fight off the syphilis and gonorrhea, and it didn't. And in a lot of cases, men died, went blind, all kind of crazy stuff. And yesterday, Esther Roll, Florida Evans, damn. Happy heavenly birthday yesterday to Esther Roll from Good Times, who started off as Florida Evans, the maid on Maude, the TV show, and then she got her own show, Good Times with James Evan and JJ Dynamite, and Florida, that every young dude had a crush on Thelma. That was their daughter. Florida was mama, but Thelma, all the young brothers had a crush on Thelma, and then they had Lil Michael. And then Lil Penny, that was Janet Jackson back in the day. Florida Evans was born yesterday in 1920. And today, on this day, 1922, the legendary, iconic, beautiful black woman, actress, singer. As a matter of fact, she was the first black woman nominated for an Oscar Academy Award for her role in the movie Carmen Jones. She was Carmen Jones, and she was a beautiful black woman. Dorothy Dandridge, happy heavenly birthday today, was born on this date in 1922. Salt from Salt and Pepper, I should say Pep's birthday is today. Salt's birthday is not today, but Pepper from Salt and Pepper. Sandra Sandy Denton, happy birthday, 53. Also 53 today, hip-hop legend, because we're talking about some hip-hop icons and legends. You got Roxanne Shante, rap hip-hop legend from the Juice Crew, 53. And speaking of rappers, iconic hip-hopper, rap hip-hop icon, my man Scarface from the Ghetto Boys. Man, homie, my mind's playing tricks on me. Scarface, 53 today. Happy birthday to everybody celebrating birthday. Thank you. I want to say thank you for watching the Geno Jones Show. God bless each and every one of you, and especially you. And God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago or up in Milwaukee, 3:30 p.m. out in Los Angeles. Please subscribe to the Geno Jones Show. You and everybody you know, everybody you don't know, everybody that you like, that you love, that you ain't too crazy about, folks you can't stand, folks you hate, strangers, aliens from outer space. I don't give a damn. Tell them all. Must See TV right here, live, Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, or just subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. Shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, he is the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. You can check him out. He is the CEO of Designer Cuts, the Charleston, South Carolina Metro. You can just check him out on Instagram. Kel be cutting up. KelBeCuttinup, because Kel be cutting it up. Allie Jones, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. You can check her out on Instagram. She's a fashion designer. She's a fashion design major, student, supermodel, Columbia College, Chicago, my alma mater. You can check out Allie Jones on Instagram, LX.NCL underscores, that little dash below. LX.NCL underscore. And Bruce Gage, also wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show, the Mario Uomo collection. You can see, bam, bam, right there. You see that? Bam, Mario Uomo. You see it. There you go. There you go. The Mario Uomo collection and more. Check him out on Instagram. It's Miglio D Mario Uomo. MIGILIODIMARIOU. The next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be on Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. I will leave you with the new single from the Isley brothers. Because you had to make me say it again, girl. It was already #1 for like 5 or 6 weeks straight. You saw the Isley brothers, my man Ronald Isley and Ernie Isley. They were my guests 2 weeks ago today. 2 weeks ago on this day. Go back and check out that episode. We had a great time. I had the brothers laughing. They got some stuff in the works for Beyonce. Mr. Big, Ronald Isley, got something in the works with Snoop Dogg. They tell you all about that on that show. Go back and look it up from 2 weeks ago from today. But today on this show, the brand new single featuring 2 Chainz, rapper from the ATL. I got the plug for your love. So until tomorrow or Thursday, depending on when you're watching me, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, I just got one more thing to say. Always be blessed. Pray for peace. Hey, thanks for watching. You ready? I got the plug for your love.
Bam. Plug talk.
You're looking at the plug. Ooh, you know I got it. Yeah. If you need a little love, 'cause you ran out. Sugar, you know I got it. Ooh, you know I got it. Hey, you can wait anytime on the scale. Yeah, it's all there. Have no fear.
Welcome to the cure.
Never been the one to kiss and tell. Your secret safe is safe here. Been running around trying to find it. When I'm right in front of your
Back
face,
and get you prepped for your
you're looking at the plug. Ooh, you know I got it. If you need a little love, 'cause you ran out. Sugar, you know I got it.
Sometimes it's hard to describe your love, yeah. 'Cause
You
it's
know I
one
got
good
it.
one.
Hey,
Showing the ways to be emotional,
give me back when you're ready.
and it feels so good.
Yeah, you got
You
good
and
credit.
me, I'm your king and
Weekdays on the
queen.
weekend.
Finally, you
What
get
you need,
all
come
of
get
me.
it.
Never gotta question my
I'm your
intentions.
superstar.
My heart is always open. I'll listen.
Let me
This
listen.
could be so simple. Make you believe our soul can't feel no pain. I'ma show you,
When I'm right
baby.
in
Show
front
you
of your
in so many
face.
ways. Be patient.
You're looking at the
There's
clock.
a million things that can
You know I
hurt
got
you.
it.
Let me be your
Yeah.
forever medicine.
If you need a little love, 'cause you
Dose,
ran
I'll cure
out.
you.
Sugar, you know I got it.
Take a dose, I'll cure you.
You know I got it.
Take a dose, I'll cure you.
My cologne, an aphrodisiac. On the floor, the connect, on the internet. I like that sundress. I'm trying to get into that. But it's not the time for you to get rid of that. They trying to ridicule me about my past addiction. I'm in the trap house, ceiling fan, no air condition. You can't be around me and be pessimistic. Cause I'ma pull that weave out, you gon' need extra inches. This that wet edition, this is sex edition. I'ma put it
Always
in your
do me
face like
right
an
tonight.
esthetician.
I'm
the
all in your
plug.
heart.
Yeah.
Say my name, wanna
Known
know
to
you,
get
I
back
adore
rubs
you.
in the tub,
We ain't
yeah,
never
yeah.
gotta
Put your
make
on top,
up
place
like
on the
Savannah,
fuck, yeah,
'cause
yeah.
I'm
21
into.
time your love is a drug,
I'm your
yeah, yeah.
protector,
This our
I'll
blood
pray
talk.
for you.
I
Now
guess
I
I
gotta
the
bless
boss, it
you.
don't rub dog.
There's a million things that can hurt
You know I got
Let
it.
me be your forever medicine.
If you
Take
need
a
a
dose,
little love,
I'll
'cause you
cure
ran
you.
out.
You ain't got
Sugar, you know I got it.
Take a dose, I'll cure you. You ain't gotta find it. Take a dose and I'll heal you. You ain't gotta take a dose.
Let me live.
You ain't gotta take a dose, I'll heal you. I can cure you. I can heal you. I can cure you. I can cure you. I can heal you. I can cure you. I can cure you.
Amazing.
I can heal you. I can cure you. I can cure you. I can heal you.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.